2 minutes ago. One of the saddest and most embarrassing moments in the career of FBI Director Kash Patel came to the forefront of public attention amid curious looks from everyone, due to a note captured on camera during a congressional hearing. This simple and seemingly insignificant piece of paper on Patel's desk became one of the most important and controversial documents in the history of U.S. intelligence and created a crisis-like effect on social media. Carefully watched by millions of people, this moment revealed just how far Patel was from professionalism and had an earthquake-like impact in political circles. Inside the hearing room, cameras from multiple news networks, including CNN and other major outlets, focused on the desk in front of Patel during Raskin's intense questioning. Those critical moments revealed how unprepared the FBI's highest-ranking official was for a professional hearing and what he was trying to conceal. The content of the note and the moment it appeared on camera. The most talked-about moment of the historic hearing occurred when high-resolution cameras captured a handwritten note on Patel's desk at a central moment. Unprofessional content. The note contained personal insults, mocking remarks, and aggressive expressions directed at Raskin and Democratic lawmakers. The fact that the FBI director kept such a note during a congressional hearing dealt a major blow to the institution's credibility. List of strategic mistakes. Part of the note clearly showed the strategic planning errors Patel made while preparing for the hearing. Instructions such as, do not let Raskin bring up Charlie Kirk and avoid the Meta Abbas question, laid bare the strategy Patel followed to conceal the truth. Confession-like statements. The most striking part was at the bottom of the note, which included phrases such as, the Manhattan dinner is indefensible, change the subject, and the Driscoll statement is too risky. These sentences amounted to an admission that Patel was aware of his own mistakes and was trying to hide them. Explosion on social media and the viral spread. Immediately after the hearing, social media platforms quite literally exploded. Trending on Twitter, the hashtags #PatelNotes and #FBI-scandal entered Twitter's top trending topics within hours. 15 million users posted using these hashtags. Visual analyses. Thousands of users took high-resolution images of the note and analyzed it line by line. Charts, translation videos, and mock-ups flooded social media. Some users even conducted handwriting analyses, commenting on Patel's stress level and psychological state. Meme culture. The content of the note became one of the most popular materials in internet meme culture. Thousands of humorous images were produced under the title, The FBI Director's Notes. Comments from legal experts. Constitutional law professors and former intelligence officials issued warnings about the seriousness of the incident. Statement by Professor Lawrence Tribe. Renowned Harvard Law School professor Lawrence Tribe said, "This note is concrete evidence that an FBI director followed a deliberate strategy to mislead Congress. The existence of such a document during sworn testimony could raise the issue of perjury." Reaction from former CIA Director John Brennan. Speaking on an MSNBC program, Brennan commented, "In my 30-year intelligence career, I've never seen a senior official come to a congressional hearing so unprepared and lacking in professionalism. This is a tragic indication of how politicized our national security institutions have become." Ethical violation assessments. Experts from Georgetown University's Center on Law and Ethics published a report evaluating whether the content of the note violated federal ethics rules. The report stated that the concealment of strategy documents aimed at misleading Congress by senior officials could have serious consequences. The White House's silence and the panic behind the scenes. After the scandal erupted, the silence coming from the White House demonstrated helplessness in crisis management. 24-hour absence of a response. Even a full 24 hours after the incident went viral on social media, no official statement had come from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. This delay was widely regarded as a major failure in crisis management. Leaks from internal sources. According to information leaked from the White House, emergency meetings were held among senior advisors after Patel's note was exposed. Sources claim that the president personally called Patel and asked how he could have made such a stupid mistake. Discomfort among Republican senators. Even some Republican senators who had voted to confirm Patel were no longer hiding their discomfort. Senator Lisa Murkowski stated, "When I look at this note, I regret my vote to confirm the FBI director." Democrats' legal moves. The opposition did not miss the opportunity and moved quickly. Call for a congressional investigation. Democrats in the House of Representatives called for the opening of a formal investigation into Patel's conduct during sworn testimony. The chair of the Oversight and Reform Committee said, "This note is documentation of a systematic strategy of lying and manipulation." Perjury allegations. Members of the Judiciary Committee began evaluating whether the contradictions between Patel's testimony and the strategies written in the note could fall under perjury. Former federal prosecutors stated that such a case could potentially be supported by strong evidence. Calls for resignation. Led by Jamie Raskin, more than 50 Democratic lawmakers issued a joint statement calling for Patel's immediate resignation. The statement said, "A person who engages in strategic planning to deceive Congress cannot lead a critical institution like the FBI." Media analyses and columnist commentary. Mainstream and alternative media assessed the incident from different perspectives. Washington Post, editor-in-chief. An analysis piece was published under the headline, "Since Watergate, document scandals have held a special place in American politics." Patel's note is a perfect example of how a classic scandal is born in the digital age. New York Times Review, the newspaper's well-known investigative journalist, prepared an extensive dossier analyzing every line of the note. The article, titled "The FBI Director's Mask Falls." The Patel Notes Decoded was read 2 million times. Division at Fox News. Interestingly, even within conservative Fox News, a split emerged among commentators. While some hosts attempted to defend Patel, figures such as Tucker Carlson commented, "This is unacceptable. It is clear that Patel is not fit for this position." Historical comparisons and similar scandals. Historians and political scientists compared the incident to similar scandals in America's political history. The Nixon tapes, parallel. Parallels were drawn between the secret audio recordings in the Watergate scandal and Patel's note. In both cases, senior officials effectively confessed to their wrongdoing in their own words. The Oliver North documents. Patel's note was compared to the notebook seized from Colonel Oliver North during the Iran-Contra scandal. However, experts noted that the Patel case was more severe, because it occurred directly at the level of the FBI director. Comparisons to the J. Edgar Hoover era. Some historians said that in terms of the politicization of the FBI, the Patel era was reminiscent of the dark days of J. Edgar Hoover. Professor Kevin Cruz of Princeton University stated, "Even Hoover would not have shown such open contempt for Congress." Public opinion polls and public reaction. Public opinion surveys conducted after the incident showed that public trust in the FBI had been severely shaken. Decline in trust levels. According to the results of an emergency Gallup poll, the percentage of people who said they trust the FBI a great deal dropped from 38% to 22%. This was one of the sharpest declines in the institution's history. Partisan divide. Interestingly, 45% of Republican voters said Patel should resign, while this figure reached 89% among Democrats. Among independent voters, the rate was measured at 67%. Viral impact among young people. 78% of voters aged 18 to 34 said they were aware of the incident, marking a record level of awareness for congressional hearings over the past 10 years. International media reactions. This crisis within the American intelligence system also received widespread coverage in the global press. The Guardian, United Kingdom. In an article published under the headline, "America's Most Powerful Law Enforcement Agency Has Turned into Theater," it was emphasized that Patel's note had become a symbol of erosion in American democracy. Le Monde, France. The French newspaper ran the headline, "FBI Scandal. Patel's handwritten notes call the credibility of American intelligence into question." Der Spiegel, Germany. The German magazine published an in-depth analysis asking, how did the most prestigious intelligence institution in the Western world become a political toy? Legal experts' predictions of possible consequences. Law professors evaluated the potential legal consequences Patel could face. Contempt of Congress. Considering the content of the note, it was stated that Patel could face charges of contempt of Congress on the grounds that he showed contempt for and misled Congress. Ethics violation investigations. It was predicted that an investigation could be launched by the Office of Special Counsel against Patel for violating ethical rules applicable to federal employees. Removal from office process. Constitutional law experts debated whether the Senate could initiate an impeachment process against Patel. Some said it was possible, while others argued it would be politically difficult. Reactions from within the FBI and a morale crisis. Information leaked from within the Bureau revealed the disappointment experienced by personnel. Open letter from former agents. More than 200 retired FBI agents published a joint open letter stating that Patel's actions betrayed the FBI's honorable traditions. Internal resignations. It was learned that within the first week after the note was exposed, 15 senior analysts from the FBI's counterterrorism division resigned. According to sources, the resignation letters directly expressed a lack of trust in Patel. Impact on morale. In anonymous surveys conducted among FBI employees, 73% stated that their trust in the institution has been shaken, while 81% said they were uncomfortable working under Patel's leadership. Patel's defense strategy and its failure. After the scandal erupted, Patel's team tried various defense strategies. Out of context claim. The initial response argued that the note was taken out of context and misinterpreted. However, this defense collapsed once the full note was published. Personal notes. Defense. Patel's lawyers claimed that the notes were personal thoughts and not an official document. However, legal experts pointed out that any notes taken during an official congressional hearing fall within the scope of the official record. Media attack. As a last resort, Patel's supporters accused the mainstream media of setting a trap. However, this strategy was not found convincing by the broader public. Conclusion and forward-looking implications. The moment Patel's note was caught on camera became not just a moment, but a turning point. This incident provided the clearest evidence of the politicization of the FBI, demonstrated disrespect toward congressional oversight, exposed the risks of prioritizing loyalty over professionalism, showed that in the age of social media, no detail can remain hidden. Political analysts agree that this scandal could mark the end of Patel's career. Some say it will go down in history as the largest personnel crisis of the Trump administration's second term. While Democrats are preparing to use this opportunity to propose new legislation for FBI reform, support for Patel is rapidly eroding even within Republican ranks. The document, now known as the Patel Notes, has already taken its place as one of the most unforgettable documents in American political history. In the days ahead, how the legal process unfolds, the White House's stance, and how the morale crisis within the FBI is managed will continue to be closely watched.
Ultimately, the moment the note was captured on camera became more than a brief embarrassment. It evolved into a defining political episode, raising questions about transparency, accountability, and the role of professionalism in public office. Analysts suggest the long-term impact will depend on legal developments, congressional action, and how leadership within the FBI and the White House chooses to respond.